And it's also really why we want to think about focusing efforts around diversity, equity, and inclusion in the field of technology. Women and other underrepresented groups bring the diversity of backgrounds that is necessary to actually solve problems that come our way, and to be able to pivot and to be fluid when things like COVID come up. And so because of that creativity and that diversity of thought that women bring to the table, I am proud to introduce 4 incredible leaders and spend the next 30 minutes talking about some lessons learned because of COVID, and how we can all move forward through this and think about the components that we've learned or that we've deployed while moving through COVID. What are some of those things that will stay with us, and what are some of the important lessons that we learned that we'll continue with as we move forward in a post-COVID world? Hopefully that's on the horizon, right? So I am proud to introduce, and ladies, if you want to go ahead and turn your cameras on. Proud to introduce Johanna South. She is the Senior Director of Engineering and Mobile Applications with twinspires.com. Angela Ciliberti-Riedling. She's the Global Director of IT and IT Business Partner for Application Development and Innovation with Brown-Forman. Dr. Sharon Kerrick, Faculty Department Chair and Assistant VP of Digital Transformation for the University of Louisville. And Rachana Pandey, who's the Technology Director of Wellness at Humana. Thank you so much, all 4 of you, for being here. I'm really excited to hear what your responses are as they apply to the different organizations that you represent and in your leadership. So my first question is going to be to Angela Ciliberti-Riedling. Angela, we're all familiar with tools like WebEx, Zoom, Google Meets to keep people connected, but there's something unique that you did called Wheel of Names and Spot Me or Google Jamboard. Can you tell me more about these?
Yes. Alicia, can you hear me?
I can.
Great. Thank you, Alicia. And thank you, Shannon, for inviting me to join you today. I'll start off by saying when COVID initially happened, Brown-Forman, just like everyone else, had to pivot very quickly. In IT at Brown-Forman, we had to shift our priorities and change our thinking based on the fact that everyone was now working remote, and how do we engage consumers online? Fortunately, Brown-Forman was in a good position to quickly shift. We were already using tools like Google Meets and WebEx for employees working together around the world. We're also already using Google Jamboards. And some of you may be familiar with Google Jamboards, but in its simplest form, it's a smart board. And with Jamboards, you don't need an actual physical board. We have the physical boards in conference rooms for when we are in person, but during COVID, we were able to leverage that same Jamboard functionality with virtual meetings. So we were able to do brainstorming sessions where anyone can draw or write on virtual board. We're able to add Post-it notes, pull up various types of documents, real time, make edits to those, which makes the meetings much more engaging and productive. Another platform we used during COVID was SpotMe. IT partnered with our marketing and event planning teams to create a unique and engaging meeting experience. So SpotMe is a meeting planning and event management tool. It provides an experience that you might expect if you go to a Gartner, a Salesforce, Dreamforce, a CES, basically any of those types of conferences. The platform provides the ability to create a branded experience, meeting experience with an event agenda included, speaker bios. It adds a social component to it with social feeds, chats, and the ability to have challenges among the attendees. So we used that internally with our marketing employees globally for a 2-day event, really providing a unique and branded experience. You know, at the beginning of COVID, I was asked by my colleagues several times, what can we do to further engage our employees in virtual meetings? The two I've mentioned are just a couple examples. A third one I will just quickly mention. I know you asked about it, Alicia, and that is Wheel of Names. So if you were to go to wheelofnames.com, you'll find a virtual spin the wheel device to randomly select names. We use that device for door prizes and door prize drawings to really engage employees in meetings and to add just a bit more fun to what was and still is a stressful time for many of our employees.
Thank you so much, Angela. I really appreciate that you have very specific, specific platforms that you use to increase engagement and to enhance communication and collaboration in your team. We're going to turn now with the Wheel of Names. No, I knew this was coming, but I'm going to turn now to Rachana. Rachana, thank you first of all so much for being here. And what do you think are the most important things for leaders to lead during these challenging times?
First of all, thank you for having me here today. It's a pleasure. So basically, there's so much going on in the world that's impacting everyone's personal and professional life. So first and foremost thing I feel for leaders and everyone is to be extremely mindful about what's going on. I think it's very, very critical to get our work in the time, but we need to be very mindful and aware about what's going on. All of us literally moved to virtual setting over the night. That changed the way we work, that changed the way we do business. So that also means that we need to change as the leaders and make some adjustment as we uplift our team members. So there are too many things we can do, but the critical things that comes to my mind as a leader is to lead with empathy, be very, very transparent, keep communication open. More communication is better than no communication. And having that regular check-ins to make sure that everyone has a place and we are creating an inclusive environment. And as we do all of those things, when we put our heart and we be authentic into the conversation, we build a relationship that are trustworthy, right? We build trusted relationship, and that's the core. That's the core of a lot of businesses that we run, especially during this challenging time. I think transparency and trusted relationship is the two foundation for success, and leaders are fully accountable to create the culture. It also, when you build a relationship, first of all, we all know it's not easy. Building trusted relationship is not easy. It requires intentional effort. It requires for you to be proactive. It requires for both the parties to anticipate the need of each other and hopefully, just find a way to delight them. So I cannot stress enough that it sounds simple, but it's not easy. And as a leader, it's the very, very critical time to really create the culture where relationship, trust, and respect is in the front door of everything that we do. As Angela was talking, in Humana, we have many tools. It's a very large enterprise, but the one tool that we all are using this time is Microsoft Teams. And it gives you an ability, like any other tool, to connect with the teams and collaborate. What I love about one of the features of Microsoft Teams for leaders, it gives the analytics. And what it really does, it allows you to know your digital behavior. Where do you spend your time? Who do you meet? How do you do one-on-ones? And that was very, very helpful. It was very aware kind of thing. So you know your own behaviors and you can make the adjustment as the leaders in virtual settings. Apart from doing that, we are very, very focused on making sure there is a one-on-one time with each associates in the team. We are spending time in the town halls, all associate meetings, spending time with our business partners and the consumers that we serve, and most important is a team. We are in this together. And a lot of time people feel like having a formal discussion is very important, but I think it's even more critical. Just pick up a call and tell people, how are you doing today? How are you doing today? How can I help you? Having more grace, having more respect goes a long way. So I think we do as a company, and all the leaders in Humana is doing an excellent job in our teams. And I feel very proud and blessed that we are able to do that in the leadership of the company. The another very critical thing in my view is for leaders to be aware of what's going on in the world and being ahead and on top of the curve. We have to change the strategy. We have to change our vision and create a pattern for the team, which can put the business for the success and where we can drive the outcomes. So it's very, very important to be aware, keep up with the technology, know the trends, make sure you bring that information back and creating an environment which is very, very inclusive for others to grow. So at the end, what I want to summarize, active listening, leading with empathy, using innovation technologies to solve the problems and drive outcomes, it's a hard job for the leaders. These are not normal times, these are trying times, and we have this responsibility to do that. And more we use analytics and behavior and relationship. What it ultimately does for us is it drives alignment. It drives a separate vision into shared initiatives, and it will turn into impacting the bottom line of the digital businesses that we lead. I want to end this by saying a very good quote. If your action inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, become more, you are a leader. It's by John Kent Adams. And I think everything that I said, this sounds simple, but these are the foundation. These are the foundation to run the large businesses. These are the foundation to be successful in these challenging times and be the best leader you can be and try to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachana. And I think what you said about leading with empathy, that's for me, my takeaway. I mean, I think that's, it's interesting because that's something that's a principle. That's not really because of COVID, right? That's a leadership, a core leadership principle that we should be implementing in every aspect of our leadership. And maybe COVID is one of those opportunities or those trigger events that heightens the importance of leading with empathy. So thank you so much for keeping us focused on that important core tenet of leadership, and that is the empathy component and understanding people's situations and what they're going through in their lives. It just so happens that with COVID, we're sort of all going through it, right? So the empathy is all around. But thank you. That was a phenomenal response and a phenomenal reminder for grace and for empathy and understanding in these times. I'm going to turn to Johanna. Johanna, I know some companies were used to remote workers long before COVID, but your team was not fully remote before COVID. Can you explain some of the hurdles you faced initially and how you overcame them?
Certainly. Thank Alicia and Shannon for having me today as well. So I think 3 hurdles come to mind when thinking through this question. The first one relates to how Twin Spires, we develop our applications and test them. Many of you may know Twin Spires has an iOS and an Android application that we support and maintain. And as such, we spend a great deal of time developing and testing those apps. Pre-COVID, when everyone was in the office, we were able to easily access our physical devices. If someone needed to test something, they could grab a physical device and do their testing and kind of put it back. When we shifted to working from home, we had to quickly shift the way we tested our applications. It wasn't a smart investment for us to go out and buy a bunch of physical devices, across the iOS and Android applications that would cost quite a bit of money. And they also become quickly outdated. So instead, we were already utilizing a product called Sauce Labs for our testing and automation. So we were able to have people join in and test on Sauce Labs and essentially use our cloud platform to test instead of needing those physical devices. So to pivot, we trained and encouraged everyone to use that. The next hurdle we overcame is our communication strategy. So communication is definitely important for all teams, but especially an agile team. At Twin Spires, we have a great culture of communication among teams. When we're in the office, it wasn't abnormal to see teams working together in their team rooms, making sure that everyone was collaborating. But obviously, when you shift to work from home, we lost some of that natural communication. So we had to be really intentional on how we interacted with one another. Unlike some of the other panelists today, we're actually using Slack for our direct communication. But we rarely were using the video conferencing and screen sharing capabilities within Slack. So since people were already in Slack, we actually naturally started to use their video conferencing and screen sharing. So we didn't have to go outside of the tool and log into another video conferencing tool. That worked out really well for us. And lastly, we had to ensure that everyone had a home setup that was conducive to being productive and being happy and healthy. For us, getting everyone's home office set up was the first hurdle that we had to overcome. Since we didn't have work from home prior to this, a lot of folks weren't really set up to work from home. So everything from having a proper chair, which I would argue is the most important thing, to ensuring productivity through accessories like extra monitors, the proper keyboards and mice. Those were all things that we had to work through. So I would say those are the three areas that come to mind when I think about this question, in the areas that we really were challenged in to pivot.
Thank you, Johanna. And you know what, I feel like there's a common thread that's moving through what everyone's response has been thus far, and that is problem solving, right? You're seeing that there are hurdles, there are problems that need to be overcome, and figuring out what the best platforms are, basically what are the best solutions to the problems that are being presented based on the advent of COVID. And I don't know if this is common knowledge or not, but there's a difference in general, research shows us, between what attracts men and women to the field of computer science, the field of technology. And by and large, again, this is we're speaking broadly, but men are attracted by the hardware itself, taking things apart, whereas women are drawn by its ability to solve problems to help people into better society. And I think we're seeing examples of that here, playing out here with the three of you who have just spoken. So I'm turning a little bit to the academic component, Dr. Kerrick, because I'd like to ask you, Dr. Kerrick, you've always been on the cutting edge of technology, and you're a huge advocate. I'm also a huge advocate of continuous learning. Can you tell us a little bit about all the continuous learning you took advantage of during COVID? Make us all feel bad for not learning as much as you did, and let us know if any of this free learning is still available out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. And thank you for all of you joining us, but more so because this is building our community, not just network of women, but some of my really closest friends on this call, Ben and Larry, and all these folks that, really want to push and drive technology is critical, for us to band together. So I'm very excited about that as well. Plus, I'm very excited to tell you that I have more technology badges since January than Ben. And so I'm just kidding. Well, I have a little, competition on that. But even all the years that I've been in technology, the wall of shame, even all the years that I've been in technology, I think for all of us in technology, it's about, creatively pushing yourselves. And as I tell others in the community and to myself, it really continues to connect the synaptic brain cells, the maneuverability of your brain cells. So to answer your question, I actually have since January this year, which COVID really started for us in March, but since January, I've gotten several, probably 20 Microsoft badges. I've been certified by Microsoft in artificial intelligence, train the trainer. As Alicia knows, and several others that kind of hang around me, is I'm really big on this train the trainer, because we train people and teach people one at a time, but we really need to have a bigger, broad set of train the trainer people so that we can really attack this more. And so I'll put in the chat, and this is not a sales pitch for Bell. Alicia and Ben know that we've worked in collaboration with the city and the future of work, but we created back in February, before COVID, at the brand new Digital Transformation Center at the University of Louisville, this direct portal that we don't even capture your name or your address, but if you go to it, it has all the Microsoft Learn training that's free, all IBM training that's free, Cisco, Adobe, AWS, I mean, you name it, we curate all these different vendors and put them together, and certainly have connection to the future of work from the city of Louisville, who also has tremendous opportunity. But I feel like that's like my new job, is instead of making people go look for these resources, and again, we're not capturing data on you. You have to go to the vendor site. Now they may ask you to and capture your data, but we're not. You can put an inquiry in there if you want to get our newsletter, but I'm posting every week different things and different angles, and trying to just curate a portal so that we can kind of go one place and then see all these different opportunities. And then the University of Louisville, each month we're doing what I call a taste of technology, where we're inviting the national vendors in to do kind of what's hot, and here's where the resources are. Now, certainly if you're a student at University of Louisville, we're negotiating more, training for people. But again, you could send this digital transformation link to anyone in the world, and they can get a ton of different things. And some of the ones that I'm really encouraging people to take a look at really are the cybersecurity, which we just got a big grant, national grant from the National Security Agency. So you'll see us put out a new certificate that actually will be free, have some scholarships attached to that in the fall. But so cybersecurity, but again, you can get the IBM Cybersecurity Foundations badge, even if you don't know anything about it. You can get the Internet of Things badge, even if you don't know anything about it. It sort of challenges your mind to think about, how might I use this in my business? Or the foundations of blockchain, what is it and how can I do it? And you can do it again. The great lessons learned with video, and also ADA compliant for dialogue. Now, it doesn't have the back end support. I'm trying to build out some, just some meetups, some groups, so if I'm interested in artificial intelligence, then I might pop into the digital transformation site and see who else wants to collaborate on that. There is actually a consortium for artificial intelligence right here in our region. And so we've been connecting people together, and that's what we want to use this portal for. I think the other one, and we all know, analytics all has a theme that I have said for the last 5 years. I don't care what you do, what job you're in, it's analytics all. So I'm a big proponent of the basic Google Analytics, because it makes people not afraid. They can take it and get a certificate, and we all use Google, and they builds their confidence, and it's really well done. It's free, but it kind of takes you, they have all the way to the advanced, and then they have other levels of certification that you can pay for. And again, the future of work has been working General Assembly, and they have other programs that you can go through that point. But I could just go on, very excited about, not just analytics, but cybersecurity, but artificial intelligence. And those are all things that in my spare time that I figure out ways that I can learn more about it, even if I don't know anything and feel apprehensive to ask. And again, you can send it out to your colleagues, to your employees, to your grandmother in Venezuela. It doesn't matter. And we've had a lot of hits from people around the world to take access on the free parts of those sites, and had a lot of success to really get people jazzed up and excited about, hey, yeah, it's COVID, but how can I, leverage this to my advantage for a next step in my career? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kerrick. That is phenomenal information. I just wanted to ask something, and it's putting you a little bit on the spot. Well, I'm just kind of curious in some ways from my own perspective. Was there a particular course that just like, if somebody just wanted to take a course for fun, maybe they're, we've got holidays coming up and maybe people are off, and I found sometimes when I went into like Microsoft Learn, there's just so much, like it is an abundance mindset. There's so much. So like, was there one that you just thought like, oh, that was just a really cool course, I'm not sure how I would apply it, or maybe I did apply it, but anything that you just really enjoyed?
And again, not just because, powered by Microsoft is sitting here, I'm honest about everything. I'm an agnostic technologist for years. And I really love, and I'll put it in the chat room, but I really love the kind of I'm calling it the Build-A-Bot, the AI bot, BOT. In fact, I'm doing workshops for Jefferson County Public Schools right now, free on Tuesday and Thursday nights to get them the students to build a bot. But I really like the Microsoft basic, I forgot what it's called, but it's Azure Build-A-Bot or build your own AI bot. I can't remember. I'll put the link in the chat. But I also love, there's a free program by Amplify, and it's a Build-A-Bot too, where you can just pick from the icons what kind of bot you want. And I think people are just really, what's the word, apprehensive about it, but it's really fun. And I've had my 13-year-old granddaughter, and I'm like, let's bot, and it takes like 15 minutes. Now they say even, it'll take you 5 to 10 minutes. That's not true. You have to learn a little bit more than that. But literally, once I showed her, she's like, oh, okay, I get it, and then now she'll just click on building a bot. And I think that's fascinating to see, just young minds looking at it, but old minds, me, old minds looking at it too, and thinking about, wow, what are some of the future applications? And that's a real simple one under the Microsoft Learn. I'll put it in the chat, but that would be one I'd highly encourage.
Thank you, Dr. Kerrick. Incredible. And I think you touched on really just lifelong learning, right? And the importance of never thinking of learning as a stagnant enterprise, that it's something that you can continue to do. It's a muscle that you continue to exercise throughout your life. And you're, hanging out with your 13-year-old granddaughter making bots. That's phenomenal. And I see in the chat, someone said it's a transformational leader that operates from an abundance mindset. And I think that is true in this case and what you're speaking of, and also in technology in general. There really is something for everyone. And so with that, I do want to open up the chat for questions. I believe you can also use the Q&A. And while we're waiting for questions to come from our attendees, I did just want to ask, kind of going back to something that Rachana said about leading with empathy. My question for everyone, Angela, Dr. Kerrick, Rachana, and Johanna, is leading during COVID has not been easy. Some of us have had to change the way we lead. Can you talk to us about how and why your leadership had to change during these crazy times? And if you've already spoken to it, or obviously don't feel comfortable speaking to it, of course. Johanna, I see that your mic has gone on, so I'll give it to you. How has your leadership changed during COVID?
Yeah, I mean, this question excites me a lot because I'm a young leader, and throughout my leadership career, I have had to pivot and change the way that I manage people. I learn, I pivot, I learn, I pivot, I do things differently. The three things I want to mention are always pillars in my leadership style, and that's compassion, trust, and engagement. But throughout COVID, I really had to change the way that I look at those. From a compassion standpoint, we're going through so much as a society and individually. You have people who are working at home and they have children doing NTI. Maybe they have sick loved ones that they're concerned about. So really trying to be compassionate and flexible. And it ties into the next one around trust. Trusting that people will get their work done on time, as they say they will, even if they're not at the computer from 8 to 5 every day. For those of us who have been in an office setting our whole lives, you get this notion kind of drilled into you that if you're not at your desk from 8 to 5 every day, then you're not doing your job and you're not working. And I really believe that that's untrue. And I really believe that COVID has allowed us to change that mindset. If folks want to log in at 7 o'clock at night and work a couple hours because they had to take a longer lunch or because their child was sick and needed help, I think being flexible like that, I want to see that carry over even after COVID. And lastly is around engagement and motivating. When you're in the office, I personally rely a lot on, going to lunch, having in-person meetings, seeing people in the hallways, reaching out to them, asking how they're doing. I really had to change the way that I engage with people and make a concerted effort to reach out and have those one-on-one conversations. not just on my team, but to continue building relationships across my organization. So for example, I've made sure that I'm on every stand-up that my team has, as much as possible. We've held contests for kind of doing test bash and different kind of technology contests where people can showcase their skills and win stuff. I've tried to use direct messaging as much as possible to have intimate conversations with not only people that work for me, but people that I work with. And then also engaging the team to continuous learning, training, webinars, virtual conferences, all of these things allow us to continue pushing forward. And back to that first point, being able to do it in a flexible setting when it's convenient for you has been really important and has driven success in that area for me as well.
Johanna, it sounds like the
Alicia?
takeaway. Oh, yes. Hello.
I was just going to add, I was going to build on it.
Oh, go for it, Angela.
I was
please.
just going to build on Joanna's comments in terms of, flexibility. I really think that's one of the critical characteristics that, we've seen with COVID and what we've learned is just one, understanding that, people do need to work at different times based on family commitments. Understanding that screen fatigue is real. I mean, we're all on video calls all day. And so understanding that, people may need to turn off their video sometimes in meetings and not necessarily have their video on. So being flexible in that way. And also recognizing that now that personal life and work are all happening in the same place, helping our employees to find that separation between work and personal time and, allowing them and letting them know it's okay to be able to turn that off and not always be accessible 24/7. So I think really flexibility has been a big part of some of the learning experience with COVID.
Thank you, Angela. And Rachana, I see that you would like to add in.
Yeah, I just, I love the things that I heard. The one thing I wanted to add is I have learned that every person is different. And in this time, we really learned as a leader to connect with different person differently. Some people are very comfortable in one-on-one setting. They open differently, they speak differently, they engage differently. Others are more comfortable in a group setting. So how do we navigate different kinds of preferences and the behavior and the people and really be inclusive about that? I think that was a mind-blowing experience for me. And we started doing something like virtual team meeting, virtual get-togethers. That was not happening as much because most of us were available at the work. So we would go, grab a drink, come back, do the work, and those kind of things. But now really connecting with the larger team that operates from, let's say, 3 countries and 5 states. It's a large team, and having that ability to do virtual get together when other friends can be part of it, it's really groundbreaking in the long run. And I think that's one thing I have learned that we were not doing in the past. And the other thing to add on is the continuous learning. As a leaders, we all have really learned how much innovation is required to survive, and that we learn new things and team does it. So really a culture of empowerment and connection has been very rewarding.
Thank you, Rachana. Oh,
I have a
please
quick
go ahead.
tie-in to what Rachana just said is that, something I've learned more and encouraged more of my colleagues is to ask for help. It's amazing how many people, and then when you see when someone's struggling is to, offer it up confidentially, and people have more broken down the walls because they need more help. And that goes along with that compassion. And that's one of the things that I've tried to be more conscientious about is, saying, not only are you good, but is there anything else that you need? And as we all have done, I take my list of all my employees or people that report to me, and I've just been rotating, calling them. Even what I didn't do at first, and it was a mistake, is the people I interacted with all the time, I'd skipped them on the list. And then I realized that I'm always doing a business transaction with them. I'm not caring about them. I care because I have to deal with, they're more the managers and direct reports that way. And so then I started to say, I'm just going to call them out of the blue and keep them on my list and just reach out to them. And even we created, and not me, the staff, the group did, my colleague department, we created quarantine fairies where you can submit, if you think someone needs kind of a little TLC, and our people in our group, they bake something or do something, like we buy a case of, or not a case, but a package of toilet paper, and then we drive by their house and we drive by and drop it off. So it might be a cake, it might be cookies, it might be just caring about each other in a different way that we really did not interact that way. And it's really different. And even Neely has done this. She has gone by after she heard we were doing these drive-by things. I said, yeah, I threw a package of paper on somebody's front porch. What do you call it? Drive-by. I didn't toilet their house. I just dropped off the package. It was all sealed. Note to self, but just bringing to life, that people want to be loved and cared for. And again, just tying in that I'll change the way I do things because maybe I didn't take that TLC, that time for compassion and listening, or what Johanna said, is we got to really consider. I have a 13-year-old that now is at home, and, she'll be walking in the background just like everybody else, and it'll be like, oh, Peyton here, say hi to everybody, and she'll run off. And, that makes it more fun and more humanistic.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Kerrick. And I really do think, as been mentioned in the chat, that the takeaway is that Dr. Kerrick is running around toilet papering people's houses. So just, live carefully, just live carefully. We have one last question and we have 1 minute to answer it. As a leader, what is it that you do to keep yourself refreshed, to be able to handle those random days when you want to pull the cover over your head and tap out for the day? So really quickly, I've got about a minute. I can probably stretch it to a minute and a half. What is one thing that you do to keep yourself refreshed? And I'll just go, you all can just go as you want to respond.
I think number one thing is be human, and everyone has bad days. Don't try to cover it up. Talk to your team, make sure you're communicating. If you're having a rough day, lean on them as much as they lean on you.
I would say for me, I also add to that kind of health and fitness. So I might just get on the treadmill. And while I'm, listening to another training module, or, not necessarily a participant in a meeting, but more of a listener, listening, I'll have that going while I'm on the treadmill.
Yeah, for me, it's also same. Taking care of self, being mindful and taking care of my own wellness is a priority. So I enjoy doing morning yoga routines, and that's the way I get refreshed. And, I also lean on to the leaders that I work with daily. If I have, a conversation that's required, I need help. So really, these are the two things that get me going and refreshed.
And for me, you all can tell I'm kind of silly and goofy, is that I look up like harmless practical jokes, and then I do something to someone to like spoof them, just joke on them or something. And it really makes me feel like, is life, it's going to be better and things are going to be good. And I can post some websites for some fun, harmless, practical jokes, because I definitely enjoy that a lot too. And Ben and Larry, don't do it to me, because I will get you back.
I swear that you're trying to tell us the takeaway that you are actually toilet papering people's houses, Dr. Kerrick. I feel like this is what you're trying to say here.
I just feel like you need to call us and tell us when you do that.
Two things to put in the chat, Dr. Kerrick. We would love to see some of those fun websites that you're talking about. Also, Rachana, there's a request for the analytics for Teams. I believe it's Microsoft Teams. Yeah, if you can put that in the chat as well. I just want to say a huge thank you to Angela, to Johanna, to Rachana, and to Dr. Kerrick for being here and giving us such incredible insight that was filled with both concrete and sort of more abstract ways to think about leading in the time of COVID. And with that, I'll pass it back over to you, Allie. Thanks so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies. That was fantastic. And we want to be sure that you know Shannon has gifts for all of you. And unfortunately, COVID is keeping them at bay right now. But once she's well enough and not contagious, she will take a cue from Dr. Kerrick and do drive-bys to get those to you, but not toilet paper your homes. Well, let's see. So we want to keep this thing moving. We are going to go right into the awards section of our event. And I have the great honor of announcing the Volunteer of the Year this year. So let me tell you a little bit about her. This award is actually given by Shannon. This is her event. And she picks the person that their commitment of time, sharing of knowledge, their passion for helping women in technology and the Women in Technology Louisville Conference. And this year she has selected Judy Nichols. And let you know a little bit about Judy. Before getting her bachelor's degree in computer science from University of Louisville, Judy already helped found Toledo Medic Users Group. In 2006, she joined Aspect Software, becoming the lead of their health services vertical and collaboration practice. And she also served as a leader in Women in Technology group for that organization. In 2016, Judy and her partners launched Breakpoint Technology, where she continues to serve as the CEO today. So a supporter of women in the technology conference since 2018, very active member of our planning committee, and this year's awards committee selection chair. We are very excited to announce Judy Nichols as Volunteer of the Year. Unfortunately, she is out sick today and couldn't be with us, but she did take the time to make a video. So I'm going to share that with you. She's got a few seconds at the beginning about thanking us for the award, and then she's going to go right into talking about how the rest of the Women in Tech Awards were selected. The awardees were nominated, selected, and chosen for today's program. So let me share this. Is it working?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate getting nominated for this award, receiving this award, and it means a lot to me. Focusing on women in technology is extremely important, and I
think y'all missed a bit of that beginning, so we're going to try that one more time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate getting nominated for this award, receiving. Receive this award from you. Working with the award committee this year has been so much fun. We started out by talking with Jenny and Venus, the previous team leaders from last year, and they gave us a lot of valuable insights. They were able to tell us quite a bit about what went well and what could be improved from last year. And so Celeste Stevens, Dave Mattingly, and I were able to meet together and put together a plan for this year that helped us quite a bit as we worked together to make this an effective awards participation process. And what we did is we started out with looking at the existing categories that we had. And first there was Rising Star and STEAM Leadership were the same two that were used last year, but then Male Ally Award was also added. And so we wanted to take a look and define what those were more specifically, and then also what the qualifications were. And as we looked at those pieces, we also wanted to take a look and say, what does the rubric look like for this, for the scoring mechanism? And so we spent quite a bit of our initial time working on that. As we moved along, then we also started looking at how are we going to process this from encouraging a timeline of getting submissions in and allowing plenty of time for everybody to do this, as well as making sure that Once we received a nomination for somebody, we could reach back out to that applicant and get additional details that only they would have, and make sure that we got enough information that our final reviewing panel would be able to make a qualified decision about who was the right person to present the award to. Additionally, we tried to make sure that we could reach out to the companies of all the award winner or all the nominees so that they would be notified and know what great employees that they had working for them. So as we worked together and we put together marketing materials and shared those with Allie and her team so that we could get information out and try to make sure that everybody was aware of the awards process and what was going on. We also started thinking then about how do we make sure that the selection process was just as effective and qualified as every other part of this process. And we really wanted to make sure that we had a very fair and bias-free process, or at least as much as possible. This is, let's face it, a small town in a big city when we live here in Louisville. Almost everybody's connected to somebody else when you think about it here. And we're really good at networking together. So it's hard to find impartial judges here in this great city that we live in, or even in the surrounding area. So we felt it was important to find some reviewers and put together a panel that lived outside of the Kentuckiana area and weren't directly connected to any of the companies here. And so that's why we put together people that were established and qualified peers from the technology arena, but lived outside of this area, and that would be able to clearly call out any known bias if it existed within the process. I'm so pleased to say that the process we followed worked very well. We had a high number of submissions, and a great number of those completed the full process to turn in all their information. Each of us on the awards committee was very thankful that we did not have to make the final determination because the quality was just way too high, and none of us would have wanted to make that decision. Our reviewing panel consisted of Elisa Jackson, Director of Digital and CR Marketing at Beals Inc., Vince Menzioni, the founder and CEO of Ultimate Partnerships, and Colleen Shealy of Aspect Software, Vice President of Marketing for Aspect Software. The awards committee is so thankful to this panel who undertook the process very seriously and spent a significant amount of time reviewing all of the submissions, discussing together the qualities of each award against the submission, and valuing the contributions of all of our nominees for which they have made to our technology community. Thank you, Elisa, Vince, and Colleen for your part in selecting our award winners tonight.
All right, thank you so much to Judy and congratulations. And I want to bring up now, if you'll turn on your camera, Mr. Ben Reno Weber to kick off our awards here. And just thank the Future Work Initiative for being a sponsor one more time. We really appreciate you. So Ben, take it away.
Thanks, Allie. Super glad to be here, and I'm really excited to be here on this particular award. I think for many people, this year was an awakening of how much we didn't know about the experience of our friends and colleagues. And I think particularly in the tech space, it has been really eye-opening to understand that how many different ways women and people of color are undermined or just have very different experiences and are received in different ways. And I think that's part of what makes it so important that there be people who advocate on behalf of creating the kinds of cultures in which all people are able to be their full professional selves. And that's not, as Alicia McLean likes to say, that's not just an issue of justice, though it is an issue of justice. It's an economic imperative, because when we silence the voices of talented people, when we don't enable people to be able to rise to their full potential, we all lose out. That's an economic imperative in addition to a justice imperative. And so I was honored to be asked to give away this award, which is focused on creating a culture that challenges the prevailing mindsets and attitudes in tech. So we have some amazing finalists here. and it is my pleasure to introduce them. So first up is Danny Brewer. He has been a technologist, as he says, since he first encountered his computer as a teenager. He's also the strategy advancement principal for Humana's enterprise architecture team, which means that he's really focused on helping the company to advance through its digital transformation and modernization efforts. And he is a key part of creating technology conferences that inform company leaders and spark the adoption of technologies that help to make Humana's experience with their customers better. Second, speaking of small town in a big city, is my friend Faraz Hamza, who is a healthcare director at Microsoft with 20 years of consulting experience in technology. He has been there, done that with governments and executives all over the world. And finally, Justin Clench, who has been with his current organization, Tech System, for 8 years in the recruiting and business development roles. Tech System is a full stack technology and digital services company, and is the largest in North America with over 100 offices. And I just want to take a moment to recognize all of these individuals and the challenge of really trying to create space in the cultures in which they operate. So it is my pleasure to give away our first male ally winner, Danny Brewer. Danny, do you want to say a few words?
Well, sure. After I picked myself up off the floor, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
And maybe even see me, if that's all, if the technology is working. I can't see myself for some reason.
We can't see you, but we can imagine your face. So actually, there's a picture of your face on the slide. Oh, there you are.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you all. I'm very honored, surprised, happy to accept the award. This came out of a relationship I had with someone who was reporting to me a couple years ago. I'm in kind of the downsizing phase of my career. I've been a leader of large IT teams, but over the last few years, I've been downsizing my leadership. I currently don't have any direct reports, so I'm in a quote individual contributor, which is a great thing. I'm enjoying that as well. I enjoy leading people, but I also enjoy not having the burden that comes with that. That's a lot of work. But a couple years ago, I was leading a small team, creating a new team at Humana, and I had an opportunity to hire a couple individuals into that team and turn it over to others to run. But one of those folks nominated me for this award, and I want to thank her. She knows who she is. But the interesting thing about that phase where I'm downsizing my leadership and I don't have such a large team is that I'm able to really focus on people. So I know there's lots of great leaders out there that can lead really large teams and still focus on people. I struggled with that personally. When I lead large teams, I have a hard time, really spending individual time with folks. But when I had this small team, I was really able to spend a lot of time with each of those individuals. And that's what led to my nomination here. So I'm very grateful for that. But it's really the stage that I'm at. And, obviously I have a commitment to developing people and helping people grow in their careers. Part of that is helping advance women as well who are interested in technology that are in my path. I'm happy to help anybody, woman or otherwise. And so I'm really appreciative of the award. Glad to be chosen. Thank you all.
Allie, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to go right over to our next fabulous sponsor, Amplify Louisville. And if Larry Horn would turn on his camera. We got you there, Larry?
I'm ready.
All right.
Thank you, Allie. I appreciate the introduction. So as Ali mentioned, my name is Larry Horn. I am the Executive Director of Amplify Louisville. And we are one of Louisville's entrepreneurial support organizations, and we are funded in part by KY Innovation. And what we focus on is supporting industry agnostic, tech-enabled, scalable startups. We provide a place for startups and founders from anywhere napkin sketch to Series A to help them explore ideas, build solutions, launch products, and grow businesses. We work collaboratively across the state to provide diverse programming, access to capital, customers, talent, and mentors. Again, I want to thank Shannon and Ali and the team for having us to be a part of this amazing conference. And as I was getting ready for this, I just did a little research on some of the challenges that I know that's affecting this space. And data shows that women-led companies have historically performed 3 times better than those with male CEOs. And this trend is true with startups too. The venture-backed companies that are acquired most often have a 7% share of female executives, as opposed to 3% in unsuccessful or unacquired firms. And looking at 2020, as we look at overall deal activity for female-founded companies, that's been declined in this year, with female founders receiving only 4.3 of venture deals in the first quarter of this year, which is down from 7.1% in the first quarter of 2019. And then looking at big companies, these valuable, innovative tech companies, for example, Google has only 33% female workforce, and at Facebook, it's even worse. The technical workforce is only 23% female. So it's obvious to say that both the startup and tech communities still have a long way to go towards equity and equality. And at Amplify, we know that there's a tremendous work to do, and we look forward to building more startup companies and creating more entrepreneurs in our community by focusing on creating those opportunities for female leaders to be heard and supported. We know a vital key in championing women is equalizing voices. And this conference does that in so many amazing ways. First, there's such an importance of storytelling, and the panel we had today to kick off this event was an absolute gem. This helps bring awareness and attention to women doing work in these fields and helps inspire younger demographics. And by doing that, we are unlocking and diversifying the candidate pools, which are a huge key to our future. So I'm excited to welcome 3 amazing women leaders in our tech community. I invite our Rising Star Award finalists to please turn on your cameras so I may introduce you properly. The Rising Star Award honors a woman in the beginning stages of her career who exemplifies potential and the future of women in technology. She is working in the technology trenches daily, making substantive contributions to her organization, field, and her community. So first, I ask that you all please reach out and chat, hit them up on social media, congratulate all of them for making us finalists today. So, and first, I know we can't hear it, but like the virtual applause for that as well. First, I'd like to recognize one of my good friends, Alicia McLean, who I know we've heard a lot from today and love hearing from her every chance I get. As you heard earlier, she's a PhD candidate studying minority women in computer science. She is the founder of Technique, a nonprofit organization that uses academic research to provide tech education for the purpose of empowering the communities of underrepresented groups in computer science. She's also Director of Community and Education at the Future Work Initiative, powered by Metro Louisville Government and Microsoft. I'd also like to welcome Annette Miller, who I know from the startup community who's a huge champion of that space. She is the CEO and co-founder of Enrich Couples, a financial wellness technology startup in New Albany. Annette has been involved in SaaS sales and consulting, technical project management in the DoD and healthcare spaces. She has a BA in behavioral neuroscience and a master's in counseling psychology. And I encourage you all to go check out her company, Enrich Couples. And last but definitely not least, I'd like to introduce Johanna South. She is the Senior Director of QA for Mobile Applications, Engineering, and the QA Center of Excellence for Twin Spires, and has performed various roles throughout the software development lifecycle, including manual and automation testing, systems business analyst, and most recently leading full stack software dev teams. So again, please give all these women a huge round of virtual applause. And I encourage you not just to do this today on chat or on socials, but every day, encourage to reach out to these women and support them as they continue to rise in our community. All right, to follow Ben's role, kind of a drum roll, please. Now, this was such an amazing group of rising stars that the reviewing panel simply could not limit the winner to just one name. So I'd like to offer congratulations to co-winners, Alicia McLean, whose work in founding technique and strong contributions in the area of diversity made her one of the two winners, and Annette Miller, whose level of business acumen and accomplishment really set her apart, making her the other women in their rising star category. So please, huge round of applause. And then I'd like to offer for Alicia and Annette to, if you'd love to say a few words, please go ahead. Don't be shy.
Just want to say thank you so much. It's really incredible to be a part of this, even just as a panel moderator, and to celebrate the incredible work that that women are doing in our community and technology. It's unbelievable to be. I was an attendee at the at the Women in Tech conference last year. How things have changed. So it's very exciting. I just want to say thank you, and proud to share the stage, the proverbial stage, if you will, with such incredible other rising stars such as Annette and Johanna. So thank you so much.
Congrats to you, Alicia. And I want to give a cheers and a shout out to Johanna, who is a coworker at Twin Spires with one of my very good friends, Leah Schultz, who runs their digital marketing. I know that you are a phenomenal professional, and I would love to get to know everyone in the group better, but both of you ladies especially. On behalf of receiving the award, I am genuinely surprised. I am a non-technical tech company founder that has had a lot of challenges, and I am very proud of where we are with being prepared to launch the company to the public in Q1 after the ebbs and flows that come with entrepreneurship. So I appreciate everyone's support, and I'm thrilled to see what happens with the organization in 2021.
All right, thank you both very much. And Allie, back to you.
All right, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. So we are on to our next speaker, and Mark Willis, if you want to come and turn on your camera. Mark is with our last sponsor, SVS.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Willis, and I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at SVS, which is a company that likely you've never heard of, but I'm certain that you have heard of our products and that you probably love them. SVS is a global business, but we're headquartered here in Louisville, and we work with the world's biggest and best brands to run effective gift card, loyalty, incentive, and rewards programs. And everybody loves getting gift cards, especially this time of year. We're very proud to sponsor this leadership award and to be affiliated with Women in Technology Louisville. And we're so thankful that we have this organization in our community. Women are often underrepresented in technology in many organizations, but we have amazing women with tremendous talent in our organizations. And this organization helps us all to recognize, nurture, and promote that talent. And women leaders in technology have a unique position and perspective to not only recognize, promote, and advocate for women, but to help the broader organization do the same and take steps towards changing that underrepresentation, which ultimately will just make all of our businesses stronger. I'm very proud and excited to introduce 3 amazing finalists for this leadership award. We have Sue Fries from Humana. Sue has been working in technology since the 90s, having been in a variety of roles, including QA, business analysis, project management, product management, architecture, and in management as a manager and now a director. She started the organization Louisville Tech Ladies. She's spoken at Codepalooza, and she's also served on the initial board of the Louisville Tech Alliance. Sue always lifts up talented women, either through word of mouth or directly through her actions on the job. I'd also like to introduce Holly Karimi from the University of Louisville. And Holly is a proven leader working in academia at startups, nonprofit organizations, as well as global organizations. She's a founding member of the Louisville CIO Series, a member of Compassionate Louisville, Rocket, co-chair of the Computer Science Engineering Advisory Board for U of L, and former chair of the World Affairs Council and Network of Entrepreneurial Women. Holly is a Kentucky Colonel, a recipient of Kentucky's 2017 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Leadership Award, and the Art of Inclusion Award as the executive director of the nonprofit organization she led in Louisville. I'd also like to introduce Jackie Brown from SVS. Jackie has 23 years of experience in positions ranging from business analysis, software development, director in IT, and now as an enterprise architect and product owner, where she leads teams of developers and testers in building products for the world's premier gift card provider. If you've ever bought a gift card at a grocery store, received a promotional gift card from a retailer, or used a virtual e-gift, you have seen Jackie's work firsthand. Her contributions go far beyond her technical and management contributions. She also champions diversity in all aspects every day in her life and her career. She encourages women within our organization to pursue advancement through coaching and mentorship, and she sets the example for the rest of us in recognizing talent and encouraging contribution from everyone. She provides mature and thoughtful leadership and is a sounding board and a coach for other mentors and managers, both men and women in our organization, on women's issues and perspectives in the workplace. She exercises a genuine humility and empathy as she lifts up and advocates for women and men. Outside of work, she's an accomplished musician, is involved in her church. She's an amazing mother and grandmother, and I'm proud to call her my friend. Congratulations to all three of these women who are all amazing leaders within the technology world. Thank you. And a drum roll. Congratulations, Dr. Karimi.
Wow, I'm absolutely surprised and shocked, and thank you. Thank you so much for this recognition. Especially during these hard times, it's always great to hear great news. 2020 has been good for me so far. I was able to finish my PhD in 2020 and now be recognized as a leader in my community to enhance women's success in technology. I'm truly humbled and grateful for receiving this amazing award, and especially for the fact that being amid such a fantastic, distinguished finalist. I want to thank Shannon for starting this organization, for Ali helping her out all the way step by step to getting it to the next steps. And I want to thank Dr. Kerrick for being who you are and doing what you think you do for us in our community. There were a selection committee, which was really creative and innovative, the process that you guys took to select us. I also want to thank the team that worked so hard behind this whole panel for this conference. I'm just like, I'm so surprised and shocked. And I want to also thank my colleagues and my friends and mentors, and you guys know who you are, and many of you are here tonight for supporting me and giving me the insight and the wisdom throughout my professional as well as my personal path in life, and pushed me creatively to keep learning and excelling and moving forward. We are blessed in this community. We have so many talented female IT leaders and of course male leaders as well. And I look forward to working with you guys to empower our future generation as they enter into our IT arena, so that we can make future leaders to be as impactful and effective for their communities and generations to come. It is my pleasure, and I want to thank you so very much for this recognition and this award. Thank you.
Just gotta turn my camera back on. It's not going back on, sorry. There we go. Thank you, Dr. Karimi. And I like calling you doctor now.
Just Hollywood, just fine. All the you put behind the scene on this.
Well, thank you. So I want to make sure we thank everyone that helped to make this possible. There's so many incredible people behind the scenes, volunteering their time, their expertise, their mentorship, their ideas. It's just truly amazing how many people put time into this. And I also want to congratulate not just our winners, who of course, congratulations to you, but to all our finalists and to over, I think it was close to 50 people that were nominated for awards. It is wonderful that there are that many people in our community that people feel highly enough about that they want to see that they are recognized for what they do. So what I get to talk about now, we only have 2 more things and they'll go quickly. I promise we're done at 6:30, is that we have our mentor program. So the first mentor program started a few years ago and it has continued to grow both in quality and in numbers. The program provides a collaborative and inspirational space to develop personal and leadership skills through formal networking and informal mentoring meetings. We are grateful for all the amazing volunteer mentors and especially to our committee chair, Sarah Wong, with support, of course, from Dr. Sharon Kerrick, who made this year's program a fantastic success. The mentees have told us stories of all these amazing things they've been doing in their own careers since they've been joining the program. So we know that this is working. So as of now, the applications for the 2021 mentor program are now open. And so if you want to be a mentor or you want to be a mentee, you just go to the website and sign up. We're getting those matched. So I believe how it works, we'll close the matching in January. We do the actual matching in February, and then the program kicks off in March, and it is will go the rest of the year. Okay, next I have our big announcement. I guess I should have done the drum roll like Ben and Larry and Mark. But the big announcement is the Women in Tech Louisville Conference is now Rocket Women, Propelling Women in Tech. After 4 years of creating and running the Women in Tech Louisville program, Shannon realized that our community wants more than just a once-a-year event. So Rocket Women will deliver monthly programming. It'll oversee the mentor program, will continue to put on the annual conference, and much more. So she would love for you to get involved. If you would like to learn more, she's going to hold an informational meeting on December 17th. And I believe our wonderful Lisa Bajornis, who's helping me out today, is going to put that link in the text box. Thank you, Lisa. And so you can register for that meeting and it'll be virtual. So she'll send you the link so that you can attend. And with that, we're actually going to finish early. So I will leave this open for the panelists if anybody wants to chat and send them questions. But other than that, thank you all so much. Congratulations again. And thank you very much to our sponsors, SVS, Amplify Louisville, and Future of Work Initiative powered by Microsoft. Have a great night.
Nice job, gang. That was great.
Yeah, thank you all very much. That was wonderful.
You did awesome, Ellie.
Allie, great job.
I don't like to talk in front of a bunch of people.
Well, under duress, you did well.
That's funny. Oh my goodness.
You did a great job. That was a lot to take on. Really well
Thank
done.
you, Lisa. We couldn't, and I don't know if all you know, Lisa jumped in like this morning to start helping me out.
That's how you can tell she's deeply in the entrepreneurial space. Right, what needs to happen? Okay, I'll figure it out. It's great. Don't worry about it. I got it.
That was exactly what Allie did. I got it.
Is Elisa still on, or did she jump off?
Who's that?
Is Shannon still there? She's muted.
Yeah, I don't think she's feeling so well.
I'm still here though. Barely, but I am.
Not dead yet.
I'm not dead yet. Lisa, thank you for jumping in. Allie, thank you so much. And Ben, thank you. I don't know if any other sponsors. Rachana, thank you so much.
Nice work, gang. Hey, Sue, I really want to follow up with you about a really dumb idea I have that might fit into your wheelhouse.
I am fascinated.
With that kind of lead in? Yeah. All right. Thank you all.
Bye, Ben. Bye, Sue.
Bye, Ben.
Thank you all. This was awesome to be a part of. Really appreciate it. Allie, you did so good. I know you were freaking out and when the audio didn't come on, but seriously, it's not perfect, but you made it look like that had been a plan all along.
Yeah. It was very well done. And especially last minute, right, Ellie?
Right.
It was last minute and you pulled up so well.
You did.
I admired you today. That is the resiliency. That's the courage, it was amazing. Hey, everyone give a good smile. Lisa, are you okay if we take a picture? I have my phone, but how should I do that?
You want to just do a screenshot?
She really is holding up her phone.
Yeah, you can just
the best.
All
right. Shot. Okay. Right. Okay. I'll give you a count. Bring your best smile. We are only.
All right.
Well, I will see. I think I did.
All right. Hopefully I got one. Oh, I think I got one with me talking.
Sue closed the eyes. So I think 3 of us came. So you need to keep your eyes open. Otherwise, you're going to kill me. Okay. Okay. One more time, ladies, and I'll try to smile well. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Let's try.
Does it get better with my eyes open this time?
Oh, yes, I am looking little.
When I smile big, they get smaller and smaller, and they look closed.
Yeah. No, this was better. I'm looking little silly, but there is no other way for me. I'm not expert of print screens. What to do now? Just cut it and save JPJ if we want to.
I see a few friendly faces over on the attendees.
Yes,
Sarah,
Greg, Venus, and I don't know Andrew. Thanks for hanging with us.
There's Sarah and Venus. Are you guys able to say hi?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi, Venus. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yay, Venus!
Hey, Venus. Hello.
And Sarah, I guess, might have stepped away from her computer. But that's great to see everybody.
I suddenly had this idea for as long as there's virtual conferences, there should be an option where you can tag a few people and get a group photo. That totally should be a feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I owe it all to Rachana because she had this idea. I was to grab a screenshot we're all together.
That's funny.
Able to type an emoji next to somebody's comment in the chat box. And I hate that, once it goes by, that's it. You can't.
Yeah. Good job.
So I don't have Venus and I don't have Sarah. So Sarah's video is off, but Venus, you need to look at camera. I don't want you to miss out.
All right, I'm looking at it.
Sue
Let me take my glasses off.
smiling. You're looking great.
I
as
sit
always.
upright and I'm trying not to sprint.
By the way, my glasses don't give a glare.
Ladies, yeah. 1, 2, 3. And I know I'm acting like a pro, but I promise I'm not good photographer.
We love you. Don't change. You're awesome.
Okay, I got it. I think it's good. I'll
Awesome.
cut it, and Ellie, I have your email ID, and Sue and Venus are good friends, so I
You know,
have their number.
you can also post it in the Women in Tech Slack.
Yeah, okay.
Or put it right on our website, on our social pages.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sure. We're famous.
Awesome.
We're famous. I was very happy. Congratulations, Sue, one more time.
Thank you. It is like such a thing. Like I love that this whole group came together. That's so awesome. And that it's one of those things that I know, like, it's a small amount of time to actually go through it all, but the amount of time it took to get here, like, that's Herculean. That's wow.
Yeah.
Y'all are fantastic.
Yeah, I think, well, she told me we weren't supposed to do a virtual meeting. It was just going to be a live stream until a week ago. And then she decided it would just be virtual. And I said, okay, well, let me try to start setting it up. And she was going to do like 75% of the work and I was going to do just a little bit. And then she got COVID. So that's when, yeah, it
yeah.
easy.
But it went off. Everything's fine. You did good.
I'm glad you think that.
You know what?
We could have.
You totally earned yourself a refill on whatever glass you happen to have.
That's right.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right.
We miss you on the committee.
I may come back.
Okay.
I took a little break. I may come back. Yeah.
Venus, there's an excellent opportunity for you to help out with the big conference, which is rescheduled to mid-May. So,
Oh, okay.
opportunity.
I may take you up on that. Yeah, I stepped away for a minute because I wanted to be a participant. You know how it is, right? When you're planning something, you don't actually get to take it all in. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit this one out so that I can take it all in and see what it's like from the other side from another lens. But yeah, you guys did an awesome job. This was fantastic.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked it.
Yeah.
That means a
Yeah.
lot. So that's cool. Well, ladies, I am pretty fried and I got to go write a 1,500 word article before 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go.
All right.
You need a
Allie, great job.
Thank you, Lisa.
Don't stay up too late.
Everybody, great job. And
Thank
congratulations,
you.
everybody.
Bye, everyone. I'll cut the JPJ, and I hope nobody minds it if it goes on social media.
That's fine.
All
Do
right.
it. Do
Thank
it.
you.
All right. Bye, ladies. Have a good night.
Take care. Bye.